Hello everyone, welcome back to Minecraft. I think today we're going to go smaller scale than last episode. In the last episode, we worked on placing a bunch of stone and getting these mountains started. And boy, did we place a lot of stone. I actually took a little break and didn't bother adding anything more for a little while because this is the kind of project that you really need to take at a healthy pace and try not to overdo it. But I did go around and make sure I lit up as much as possible down here. There's a couple of places that might still require a little bit of lighting up. If I use my lighty mod, I can see the red spots. Ooh, there we go. And just place down some torches. But for the most part, it is a little bit safer down here. And that means that I don't necessarily have to worry. Ooh, one more down here. I don't necessarily have to worry too much about spawning a bunch of stuff. Just got to look out for little places like that. But while this is completely ready for me to fire up again and get back to working on some mountains, I think it's about time we started to make a little bit of progress towards working on these white wool builds. The stuff that I planned out a long time ago and have just been sitting there looking a little bit funny. Ooh. Also, let me show you a really cool view. You can just see me down there. I'm a couple of pixels. It's going to be a pixelated mess when I zoom in on that. But that is the area that I've created within the cliffs of my mountains. Now, obviously, over on the right and the left, you can see there's plenty of mountains still to add, and it is going to look a whole lot cooler once that is in and there's grass and detail on the mountain itself. But we have a bit of an idea of what this side of the valley is going to look like. The pathing going around in between all the buildings, and obviously from this view, you can see that the white wool areas, they need some love. So I think what I'm going to work on today is this barn. I want to work on this thing. It's probably one of the more significant ones. Obviously, there's these two over here. I'm going to put a windmill there, I think. And this one, I want to be a library of sorts. Maybe. We'll see. But this one here seems like a good one to get started because every now and again, especially when I was working on the storage room in there, I actually needed some leather. And while I have this set up, it would be a lot nicer to have some actual fields in here and make it a nice little place for my animals. Now, what that will probably involve is a little bit of work terraforming around here and making sure that it is kind of secure. And we will get to that. But I would just like to do a nice, easygoing episode where we make a barn. Now, for the first time in this world, I've actually gone ahead and done some creative testing and come up with a design that I really like that I'm going to try and replicate in this world. I think I want to push it back a little bit further than that, get rid of some of those trees and open up this area just a little bit so I have some more space. But I'm really happy with the design and I think it's going to look cool in that area. I'm going to have to do some resource gathering to make sure I have the stuff required to build it all up. And of course, removing some of these trees is probably a good start. Just chop it all away. Better. But a little bit of removal of trees and a little bit of setup. And I think I'm going to get this barn built nice and quickly so that we can go back through and maybe discuss how I want to set up some farmland. And by farmland, I mean for animals. Agriculture. No. Animal husbandry? The animal part of farming. Can you tell I'm a Minecrafter and not a farmer? Either way, I think we're going to remove this, pop ourselves into a nice relaxing time lapse to start things off. And then I'll bring you guys back in and we'll do a little detailing and see how it turns out. So, with that being said, let's gather some materials. I've probably got all that I need over in my storage hall. I'm going to clean up this area and we're going to get started on a nice little barn build. Just need to make sure. Oh, might need to get a little bit more spruce. Let's get into it. Okay. I just gotta say, I am so proud of this. This is one of the better builds I've done in a while. And it feels good because I haven't really been doing building as much as just a lot of terraforming lately or technical stuff. So actually getting to do a little bit of building feels really nice. What do we think? I'm a fan. Now, obviously, we've got a bit of work to do now. I would like to go through and probably do some detailing through here, some different flooring types and whatnot, and turn this into a bit of a stable. Over time, we'll connect some roads and bits and pieces up around. I think we also want to start thinking about how I'm going to make this, I suppose you'd say, animal safe. Looking at places over here, they shouldn't really be able to get out because of the jumping on the angles, so I think it should be okay. But I want to make sure that this whole area down here isn't just going to have animals wandering in every direction. But I've got a few leftover bits and pieces. I did pretty good on using up the materials that I needed. And this is the kind of thing that I might want to start doing. I've been playing on a server for the last month with a bunch of different creators, playing one-shot SMP, a month-long hardcore server. And there are a bunch of creative builders on there who I've been watching and seeing what they do, and it's been inspiring me to try some new things myself. One thing that I wouldn't mind doing is maybe taking a schematic of this and putting it on my Patreon, and potentially doing that with some of my other builds as well. Start trying to improve my building overall and allowing you guys to access it too if you're part of the Patreons. But this is really nice, and I made sure when I was building it to deliberately make it so that it is completely spawn proof all the way around. And it provides a little bit of a distance around itself too. That's why if we come up here, I have this under the middle just to make sure the entire roof is completely spawn proof, and that way we don't have creepers and whatnot potentially blowing it up. So how about we grab some materials, see what I have available, and do a little bit of interior decorating. Now, one of the things that I don't have in here, it seems, is mud, or the dried versions of mud. And a lot of these, it's becoming quite obvious that they aren't really ready. There's a lot of resources that I actually don't have available, and it would be really nice to start to build up a supply of these so that as I need them for builds and whatnot, we can come through and just grab them. So for example, it would be good to do some gathering of some spruce. I've obviously got plenty of oak and birch from mining out underneath the mountain that's going over that direction. But things like jungle and acacia, I don't have any available. Obviously this will fill in over time, but it is something to be aware of. Although we probably do have a little bit of it still over in this storage section because I haven't fully moved it across. There are bits of deep slate. There are still bits of stone and some of the varieties as well. Mud and extra, underground. It really would pay for me to actually spend some time cleaning this up and doing something different in this area. Yeah, maybe move some of these things across or turn it into a proper potion brewing area. That would be nice because at the moment I've kind of been going between that and one that I have down in the villager breeder. Oh man, there's also something that I need to work on. I set up this automatic thing here that can be used to turn them into zombified and then cure them and send them on their way out this way. And as you can see, it's ready to come up because I did put a couple in the blacksmith. But if I want to set up some different guys, it's probably worth starting on that soon. The problem is, a lot of what I want to do with the villages is maybe going to be over in a city over here. It would be nice, like I've talked about before. Actually, do we still have our book? Let's have a look. To be fair, let's sleep first. But if we have a look at the Tri-Peak Valley book, a larger town on the other side of the river, the town side mostly decorated but including different villager trades in a shopping district, i.e. stonemasons, clerics, fisheries, maybe some more armorers and such in a guild area, and move existing ones out of the blacksmith. I kind of like the idea of, let's get some height over here, get myself to a safe spot and then we can free camp. I kind of like the idea of clearing this out and making it a little bit more dense as far as buildings go. Over here it's very spread out and all these pathways to kind of show that it's more fields and whatnot. But over here, having different roads be like Guild Street or Blacksmith Avenue, Library Place, those kinds of things, and designing a city around villager trades, working to make it as spawn proof and safe as possible, and then transferring all of those villagers across so that we have a place to go shopping. Obviously, that's quite long term. Like it will take a fair bit of time, but I'm starting to think about how this entire place is going to be connected, which is a lot of fun. We're starting to get an idea of where the mountains will be and what I'm going to be building. I also kind of like the idea of this city expanding into the mountainside. Because we have such an open area, from the outside it can look like a mountain, but we can have great halls or a great hall in here as a larger, more impressive build. Could be fun. These mountains present us with an opportunity to use a large underground space without having to do too much digging or any digging at all. So I'll have to get my thinking cap on and see what I can come up with. Oh, hello friends. But that's just me rambling and kind of bringing you in on a little bit of the ideas that flow through my head when I'm starting to play and thinking about this world as it's becoming more likely to be a very long-term world. I would love to have this series reach the hundreds, 200s, like lots and lots of episodes. So we'll have to see how we go. I should prepare some stuff, gather myself some coarse dirt and some podzol and bits and pieces, and maybe even some mud. And we'll do a little bit of decorating around this barn and try and make it feel a little bit more ingrained into the landscape. Right now, it's just sitting there on some flat ground. So let's see what we can do. No? Huh. Yes. Oh, but it's not enough. Any in here? Still not enough. And I don't want to ruin my fields. It might be time. It might be time to reveal the secret. You didn't see anything. Okay, perfect. So, even though it's raining, we have now got some packed mud. Beautiful. And I've just grabbed a couple of the other bits and pieces over here. Got some coarse dirt and some podzol. Some ferns and leaves as well, just for spreading around. Now, I feel like the best thing to do in here is to just turn most of it into path blocks. A little bit like so. Yeah. It does expose a few things that we probably have to fix up. But we can put away that and that. Keep some coarse dirt on us and some podzol. But I'm just going to go through and add some different blocks and stuff. Vary it up a bit. I really do like the packed mud, and it's something that I would like to set up a machine to give us access to a lot more and a lot easier. But let's just turn this into a bit more of a stable floor. Better. And with a little bit of this. Oh, yeah. I'm happy with that as a basic texture for the inside of a barn. Seems nice, kind of dirty, a little bit of maybe manure and stuff mixed into things. And we should grab some hay. You really didn't see anything. We should grab some hay and stack some a little bit in here. But we have these hitching posts, places where we can bring stuff in. This is going to be more of a part for the horses and maybe even my skeleton horses that are up over there. And then on the outside of here, we are going to do some like fields, some walled off paddocks, I guess you would call it. Now I'm obviously going to continue a little bit out the side here too. I like the coarse dirt. I'm not going to go as far with the podzol, and I obviously would need to make up some more of the mud. So we're basically just going to expand out of here a little bit with some coarse dirt. And I think it might be worth going to get a little bit more wool, or the wool that we actually demolished in here, and just marking out some shapes. I have this path going through the middle here, which I might want to adjust slightly. It depends what I do with this, what was originally going to be a bit of a watchtower over here. But if I can, say, make one paddock on this side and wall it off in a way that the animals aren't going to get out, but they can roam semi-freely, we could encase this little watering hole into it. Obviously do a little bit more than just a 1 block deep piece of water and give it some detail and stuff. And we might be able to release our sheep into this area safely. Then I could do a little bit of work to make sure that this side is not going to allow them to just fall into here. We could block that off, wall in some stuff around here, and make it so that we can have some cows. I think I'd like to find a way to get cows, sheep, pigs, and maybe even a little area for my chickens, so that I have access to all of the different mobs, or at least the animal-related ones. That way, when I need, say, feathers or leather and stuff like that, I can come over here and breed them and make sure I have a decent collection for my needs. Yeah, I'm just going to continue to build this in. I might grab some barrels and a few pieces of hay and just decorate the outside of here and grab my white wool and try and mark off a bit of an area. I'm thinking what I might want to do is a little bit like this cliff face over here. I might want to lift up a wall through to about this edge, kind of bringing up this section of the landscape across here and creating a natural wall on that side. That way, all I need to do is a little bit of work on this side to make sure they don't fully escape, but I think the water should be a good enough way to keep them from wandering very far. Yeah. I think we kind of get the idea. Yeah, some spots for some spare hay in the corners, some ferns tucked around to give it some greenery. I like the combination of having ferns near the coarse dirt because you kind of find them in those biomes naturally, specifically the large taiga. It kind of feels like maybe they grow in a slightly harsher or coarser ground cover, if that makes sense. So bring the ferns over for that is nice. Let's have a little look. Oh, it's starting to look so nice. Look at this little place just tucked in here. Oh, gorgeous. I can obviously make some more coarse dirt with crafting, so I'm not too worried about running out of this. But it does bring up some interesting ideas for farms or little machines that I might want to work on and have in my repertoire. And I think that's kind of what I would like to use the rest of the little buildings that are around this area for. Because I've got these little squares or cubes dotted over the place, it might be cool to have one of them be like a little compact mud farm in here. And, I don't know, a simple fern duplicator that I can make some more without having to go get some. It's kind of what I did with this building to turn it into a place for me to gather more of the glow lichen. So something like this tucked in and around the different areas seems like a fun way to go about it. I'm looking at these trees back here and all of the stuff around, and it does feel like maybe I want to lean more in the direction of this, my little custom tree that I made. It's super basic, it's nothing too fancy, but maybe in this whole area within the Tri-Peaks Valley, I remove every single natural tree. Well, not necessarily every single natural tree. Some of these are okay. But lean into more of the custom smaller trees and making my own touch. So maybe, for example, the pigs, we have an area out the back and maybe they're searching for truffles and we do a bit more of a hooded forest, something that is a little bit darker because of the tree cover and they're searching around in there. Just brainstorming a little bit, I suppose. Thinking about where I want to go with the rest of it. Oh, I need some more coarse dirt. Better. But you know what? I think we're going to leave this as a shorter episode, and we're going to continue this little area, this animal place, in the next one. I think the next one might focus on the surrounds of the barn and getting the animals in, doing some terraforming, bringing this across a little bit higher, and seeing if we can work out a nice aesthetic way to tie it all together in a way where they're not going to escape. and just leave this episode as a nice individual once-off making a barn. I think that's good. I like it. Yeah, what a nice little barn. What a really nice little barn. I'm sort of proud of myself. And I think that's a nice feeling when you're playing Minecraft, to build something that you're really happy with, something that feels good, and that you're proud to show off, especially when it comes to something like content creation. Showing you guys this build and hoping that you like the look of it too. That's what it's all about. So we're going to finish up the episode here and get back onto the rest of it in the next one, episode 39. We're starting to fly through these episodes now, and I'm really, really enjoying it. This world is truly coming together. So, with that being said, I would like to thank my Patreon supporters for your continued support. You guys are amazing, and also let me know if getting Lightmatica and taking a schematic of this is something that you would like me to add to the Patreon, just as a little added benefit. I think that's a fun way. I just don't have a lot of confidence in my builds in general, but to be fair, stuff like this blacksmith and now this barn, I'm pretty proud of. I think they're really nice. So I might do that. But thank you to those Patreon supporters. It really does mean a lot. And to everyone who's been watching, I hope you like my barn. I hope you're looking forward to this area expanding, and in reality, this entire side of the Tri-Peaks Valley. We might be able to get some buildings in and make it feel nice and complete before working on some other stuff. Once we have all of these white kind of blocked out buildings completed, then we could potentially make ourselves a nice bridge or two across and see what happens on the other side. Sounds morbid, but it's not. We'll try and get some mountain work done. Lots and lots to do. But for now, I'm going to say goodbye and thank you very much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and until the next time, I hope you all take care of yourselves, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye, everyone.